Mikey Dread, Mother Nose, and Roxy Romeo. The only team keeping you lit in Philly.
Philly's Power 99, Rise and Grind Morning Show, Mother Nose, Roxy Romeo, and Mikey Dread. Good morning, Philly, Jersey, Delaware. In the building with us, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Terry Crews.
Yes!
What's up, Terry? How are you?
What's up? What's up? I'm good.
It's great to finally meet you, man. Great to finally meet you. You know I'm a big football fan, so I always say you're an Eagle.
Oh, that's true. That was my team. I was there.
Absolutely.
I was there. Veteran Stadium, though. The
Yeah.
real stadium.
Yeah.
First one.
Where you would break your ankle if you know how that field was.
Oh, my God. That's when you blew out both knees at the same time. And that really happened, for real.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Let's talk about America's Got Talent Champions. It's Mondays, 8 p.m. on NBC. Now, these are all the champions from previous episodes, correct?
That's right. From previous episodes, or even from, other Got Talent competitions around the world. Like,
Right.
You got to understand, there's 194 Got Talents. Like, there's Myanmar Got Talent, Norway's Got Talent, Germany's Got Talent. I mean, almost every country you can name. South Africa's Got Talent. And Simon's got the whole thing.
Right.
But we took the best of the best and pulled them. But you want to win America's Got Talent. It's still, it's the one to win.
Right.
I want to talk about your acting career because you've been doing it for a long time, Terry. What inspired you to be an actor?
I was broke. I needed some money.
Well, damn, I
Listen
wasn't
to me.
expecting that.
No, but listen, I actually came to LA to get behind the scenes as a creator. I actually thought I was going to be a special effects artist. I was painting, drawing, directing, creating, that whole thing. And after football, we went broke.
Right.
My wife and I, we were just like, what are we going to do? I was bouncing. I was sweeping floors. I was doing everything I could do to survive in LA. And what happened is, as I was bouncing, a friend of mine invited me to an audition. He's like, "Hey, man, you got a good look. You should try this acting thing." And I was like, "I don't know." And first thing I went and auditioned for, I got a TV show called Battle Dome, which was like American Gladiators on steroids. I mean, we were putting people in the hospital. I ain't gonna lie. The whole thing, the log line was real warriors, real pain. We were punching people, kicking people, fighting people. And then the first movie I auditioned for was a movie called The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I got that.
Wow.
And I never stopped acting after that, man. That was 1999. It's been over 20 years in the business. And I didn't know it was my destiny.
Right. So let's take it back a touch because we talked about you playing football and we talked about you being an actor. There are lots of young ladies, lots of boys and girls out there that want to try to attain what you have done. You have been part of two industries that are virtually impossible to get in. I don't know what the ratio is. I'm sure it's 1 in millions to be a professional athlete, 1 in millions to be a successful movie star. What do you attribute that to?
You got to know, I saw this when I was a little boy. I saw this way long time ago. I said, I have to be somebody. I have to be successful. I did not know what it was going to be, though.
Right.
You have to understand, that starts there. You have to start right where you are. And there I was, a young boy in Flint, Michigan, in the middle of the crack epidemic. The auto industry was falling. Crack was everywhere. And I said, I got to get out of here. Not only do I have to get out of here, I have to survive. I have to thrive. And art was my way. But I said, okay, then, because, you got to know, starving artist is a real term. I mean, it's usually starving before artist. And I knew no one's going to pay me to paint. But I did know there's several different hustles out of Flint. There was the preacher hustle.
Right.
There's the drug game. And there's athletics. I chose athletics. And I knew that being a good athlete was going to be the reason and one of the things that got me out of Flint, Michigan. And I decided I was going to use football as that. But it was never the end for me. Like, I didn't really like football that much. I'll be honest with you. No, I'm just trying to tell you, it was a means to an end. I told my wife when I met her back in 1989, we were dating, we were sitting outside of a Wendy's, and I said, look, first of all, we're going to play in the NFL, then we're going to move to LA, and we're going to make movies. I told her that in 89. You got to understand.
Wow.
When I say I saw this, I saw it. But what was crazy, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I just walked in it. I never stopped going. And the big thing is you let people talk you out of going.
Yeah.
And this is the issue. If you just take the first steps, you'll get there. But what happens is you like, well, man, maybe, you know, they like, hey, man, you going to go broke. You going to do this. Well, my thing was, I didn't care. I said, look, we going to be in L.A. We can be broke anywhere.
Yeah.
So let's go be broke in L.A. My wife told me when I retired from the NFL, when I left the Eagles and came back home, she said, remember when you told me we was going to move to L.A. and make movies? Let's go. We packed up the car, 2 kids at the time, didn't know anybody, drove out to L.A., drove all the way out there, not knowing nothing, not knowing anybody, and started over, started our lives over. But this is another thing you got to understand.
Right.
You can start over at any time. At any time.
Yeah.
Bruh, this is the best thing about life. Every day is brand new.
Amen.
This is not no hodgepodge. This is not no pie in the sky. This is not no, oh, roll my eyes, yeah, Mr. Positive. No!
Yeah.
Truth is, it's a new day. Listen, it's an opportunity out there waiting every day. Well, ain't nobody. No. You go out there, the people who actually walk out there and get it, always get it.
Absolutely.
Look at when I look at Kevin Hart, I love Kevin. He's from his town. He's one of the cats that actually went.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? Like there's so many great people. It was so wild because I knew athletes in Flint that was sitting there and they was like, yeah, man, I think that I can, but they never went. They never did it. They never go. But Michael Jordan wasn't even the best one, but he was the one that went.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? And when you go and when you experience the heartaches and it's because it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt because people are going to judge you. You gotta pay the price. There's things you got to do. But we were willing to do that, man.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, my life has never been the same. I decided, even when I started hosting AGT, what was wild is I was an actor. And everybody was like, you're an actor. You ain't no host. You know what I mean? I was like, look at you, man. You 250 pounds. How in the world are you going to be hosting stuff? And I said, you know what? I'm going to start. I'm going to start where I am. I got an opportunity to host Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the daytime version. I did 197 episodes of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire while I was doing Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on the East Coast.
Right.
And then had to fly home on the West Coast to do Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Wow.
My kids never saw, my family didn't see, but I said, I got to pay the price.
Right.
To get this talent, to get this skill. Because once I know how to host, that opens up a whole nother world for me.
Absolutely.
I started hosting everything. I was hosting this, I was hosting that, I was hosting World's Funniest Fails. You saw me hosting this and that, and then finally, here I am on the world's biggest talent show.
Amazing.
Dude, I'm trying to tell you, man, little boy from Flint, Michigan is hosting the world's biggest talent show right now. You do not know. You don't get to call it, but you got to go.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah,
Go,
let's
Terry,
go.
go.
Let's go.
What?
Terry, what have you learned about yourself since becoming a celebrity?
Say that again?
What have you learned about yourself since becoming a celebrity?
Okay, first of all, I learned I'm a narcissist.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll be real. Because, first of all, you kind of need it. You have to enjoy the way you look. You have to watch yourself. You have to be like this. But then you have to always know that that can be your downfall. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where your ego, your stuff gets in the way. I'm going to tell you one thing, man. What was wild is even on AGT, and this is a great story, man. I had my suits all ready and the whole thing. And on AGT, you have notes. They get notes on everything you wear. I wear a lot of different things on the show. You do not get to wear what you want on the show.
Didn't know that.
Okay? Listen, at no show I've ever been on, you get to wear what you want. They have to be approved.
Yeah.
Because they want to make sure you don't go out there with something crazy. So I came out there, I had a suit, I had this belt, and it was this belt that went over the suit. I thought, oh, man, this thing's going to be fly, man. I'm gonna change the game.
Right.
And on my way out, one of the execs was like, oh, could you take that belt? No belt.
Oh, wow.
I was like, who in the world? What in the world? Who are they to tell me? I'm already hosted. I'm already this. I'm big time, this and this. And I had the belt. And all of a sudden, something came in my mind and said, what are you doing? Dude, take the belt off.
Yeah.
This is their show. This is their deal. If I was driving their car, I can't put spinning rims on their car.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, I saw how quickly it could all go because of ego. Because if I went out there anyway, I might get, they might not renew me.
Yeah.
They might not bring me back.
Yeah.
They might realize he doesn't really want to listen. He doesn't really want to understand. And I took that belt off. And when I came back after the show, the executive was like, thank you. And I realized, hey, man, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing in the scheme of things. In fact, you work for people. You know what I mean? And in fact, if everybody ain't happy, if your boss ain't happy, we got a problem. And I had to realize I had to get my ego out of the way in order for the team to win. You understand what I'm saying? And for me, that was a really small thing. But it was big because that's how people fall all the time.
Yeah.
When you look at it in Hollywood, and you look at cats, they get the ego in there, and all of a sudden, you can't talk to them. You don't know what they're doing. They like, hey, man, they cussing people out. They're getting angry about every little thing. And, dude, and all of a sudden, the career is over. First of all, there's so many people I started out with that ain't here right now. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just look at myself as the most thankful, most grateful, because this is another thing that's very, very true. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it. The height of your success is equal to the depth of your gratitude. I'm going to say it one more time.
Yeah, say that again.
The height of your success is equal to the depth of your gratitude. Never forget that. The deeper your gratitude goes, the higher your success can go.
Right.
It's like a sky rise. It's like a skyscraper. But if you ain't that grateful, if you ain't that thankful, you can only build 2 stories, bruh.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go deep first. And I realized I had to be thankful for everything I got. And all of a sudden, I saw what I really had.
Yeah.
I saw, like, wait a minute, I got a beautiful family. I got money. I got a career. I got it. You don't understand. There are people who are more than me that are always complaining. People who have more than me or had more opportunities, but sooner or later you will lose it if you're not grateful and if you're not thankful.
Right. Terry, when it comes to acting, how do you avoid being typecast? How do you avoid being, oh, he's just the bouncer, or he's just the security guard? Because you play an array of roles and you do it amazing.
You know how? But first of all, I loved being typecast. I was like, typecast me. Make me the bouncer. I was in Soul playing as the bouncer. But what happens is I put my thing on it. You understand what I mean? Nobody's Terry Crews. Nobody is me. So even imagine if you hear 2 people sing the same song, they will never sing it the same way.
Right.
This is why you'll buy a cover, or you'll buy a different version. It's the same song, but whatever you put your soul into becomes yours.
Right.
And so I determined I'm going to be the bad guy. Listen, Expendables, I was a big Army guy, but the way I did it was my way. I play a cop on TV. There's many cops on TV, but I'm Terry Crews. That's the Terry Crews version.
Right.
I'll play a bouncer. I'll do this. Whatever. I don't mind being typecast because you can't keep me in there because only I have what I have. And what happened was, as directors, people who were seeing me, they were like, man, this dude, there's something different about this guy. And it wasn't that I was trying to steal it, because my whole opportunity, what I saw in my head, I remember when I did White Chicks. My job in White Chicks was to make people believe that I believe Marlon was a woman. Okay. That was hard.
Yeah.
Because he looked crazy, okay? But I went in because I said, if this sells, if this works, it makes the movie. Same thing with Friday After Next. When I did that with Cat Williams, that scene in the bathroom, man, we were all in. If you turn the sound off, it looks like a drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You turn the sound off, it ain't a comedy.
Right.
But we knew if we did not sell that scene, the whole movie's over. It's weak. And so I learned to just go in, everything that I do, give it everything you got, and then let the chips fall.
Yeah.
And what's happened, it's made a whole wonderful career for me.
Speaking of Friday After Next, you think that was your breakout role or your breakthrough role?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, that got the industry looking at me. You know what I mean? I remember Eddie Murphy. That's how I got Norbit. You know, that's how I got White Chicks. I mean, what happened was people were looking and they were like, this dude, something's different about this guy. Like, he goes in. And I think what's wild to me is to see how opportunities turn into one thing. Like, what happened was Friday After Next got me White Chicks because I got to meet with the Wayans. But White Chicks got me The Longest Yard because Adam Sandler loved The Longest Yard. And The Longest Yard got me Everybody Hates Chris, because Chris
wow.
Rock was on that and saw me on that. And then Everybody Hates Chris.
It's like a domino effect.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything. But this is what people forget, is that all my business, most of my business is always repeat business with the people you work for. If you do a good job, you go to the next level.
Right.
It's like a game.
Right.
But what happens is people blow out that one opportunity and nobody wants to hire them again.
And that's why I always say you treat people with respect, because you never know where they're going to land in your life.
Dude, come on, man. Wait, first of all, again, this may sound like these little platitudes, like, oh boy, he's saying, oh, that's kind of corny. But corny works.
Yeah.
Bill Gates is corny. And it works.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Elon Musk is corny. And it works.
It works. You're
What
right.
works is that corny thing. Them cats going to school, constantly doing their homework. Yeah, they corny, but they work.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell you, these things do not get old. They never go away. The truth will stand no matter what. And I decided, listen, I have to be the best I can be, you gotta have the success of others. The success of others is gonna help you. Don't compete. Look, The Rock, I want The Rock to do more movies, because that means I get more movies.
Right.
I want Kevin to get more opportunities, because that means I get more opportunities. Mike Strand get more opportunities. But see, when you got cats in Hollywood or anywhere else that's trying to kill everybody else's opportunity, but you're actually killing yourself.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man. But when I have it, I'm going for it. I can't wait to see what we about to do, man. Like, this is a new day, even in entertainment. With streaming and with all the opportunity that we have right now, man, when I look at Power and look at shows that wouldn't even get the light of day
Right.
10 years ago, now becoming forces. We got it, dog. And we're learning, and we're getting our own thing. And also, we're learning, even as Black people, that we can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got the creativity. We can make it happen. I'm telling you, it's no end to the future and what we can do.
I'm so happy you're here, because I can only speak to a few people about toxic masculinity,
Yes.
and you're one of the people
Thank
that I
you.
can have the conversation with. You nearly lost your wife and children as you
Yes.
spiraled into a cult of toxic masculinity in 2010. First of all, for those that are listening, what is toxic masculinity, and what are the 3 things men can do to end toxic masculinity?
You know, the phrase has been used and misused so much that people now have just mixed it all up. But I'm gonna just tell you what it is, and this is why it's kind of a hyper masculinity, so to speak. It's if you don't do things the way I say you should, you ain't even a man. This thing becomes where, okay, if you don't do things, for me, I was toxic because it was my way or the highway for everything. And I determined that just because I was a man, that I was more valuable than all the women in my life. And this is another thing. And I like to call my community on our things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't, a lot of people want me to point at the white man. They always want to go, oh, yeah, that white guy. I'm like, no, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But what about us?
Right.
I'd rather point to people in my house than point at people everywhere else. And I say, wait a minute. Do we believe as Black people that our women are equal? And the answer is no. I have to say, look at the music. Look at the culture. And until we have true equality, but see, I was like that. I'm trying to tell you, I was totally like, man, I'm the man, whatever I say goes, and this is the way, because this is something I learned, and all of a sudden my wife was like, I'm out. And I'm like, I'm rich. And you know what I said? I said, go, bye. I'll find me another girl, it'll be good, ain't no problem. Listen, you know what? Hollywood don't care if you lose your family.
Yeah.
They don't care. In fact, they're like, look, we can get you 3 more movies, because now you ain't got a family more. You ain't even got to go home. Just stay on the set. But you know what happened? There was a little voice. The little voice said, hey, man, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. And I'm like, damn. No, it can't be me. You know what it was? It was my father. He was beating my mom. You know what? The fact that I was Black, the fact that I grew up in Flint, the fact that I didn't have nothing, the fact that it was the crack epidemic, it was it. But you know what? None of those excuses matter.
Right.
None of it. Because whatever happened, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond.
Yeah.
And my thing, I realized that it was me, because I had the power to change it. I had the power to change myself. And I looked, and my wife wasn't wrong. She needed to leave for me to see myself as I truly was, because she was the only honest voice in my life. And I'm trying to tell you, everybody out there, this is the only way we can determine where we are is how other people are acting to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? How our loved ones act. How the one that loves you the most, if she like you, you good. But if she looking at you sideways, you got a problem. And I'm telling you, I knew I had a problem. I had an addiction to pornography that I had never told my wife about. And there was so many things that I was like, because I'm the man, I'm just gonna hold on. And it was the image I was in love with. The image of being the man. But the thing is, I was not.
Right.
I was weak. And the thing is, it's nothing like I was two people. But right now, I'm one. And let me tell you something. Being two people is exhausting. You know what I mean? You get tired. You walk around, you got a face on this side, you got to turn around. Which face did I make to this side? And let me tell you something. Being myself, being who I am, being pure, being right, being all the way, dude, it's so easy. This life is so easy because I don't really care. Man,
Right.
one thing is I realize what's really important. And it's wild because there were so many things I thought as a young man. This is why I love being 51. Because when I was 25, all the things they tell you are important were not. You know what I'm saying? And I said, man, the most important thing in your life, you about to let get away. And dude, let me say, I was a card-carrying, toxic man.
Right.
And I know what it looks like. I've seen it. And what's wild was when I had to take on the whole town, the whole of Hollywood with a lawsuit, when this dude grabbed me, and I was like, yo, man, I knew what toxic masculinity looked like right then and there. And I said, you know what? But this is the thing, too. It's how you respond.
Right.
It's how you respond. And I could have been in jail, and if I responded the wrong way, it could have been a mess.
And I'm glad you brought that up. After your Me Too movement situation, you had a conversation with your wife, and you thought that your career in Hollywood was over.
Yep.
Why? Why do you think it could have possibly been over?
Well, first of all, when you look at the women whose career were ended because they didn't sleep with somebody. I mean, the casting couch is real. That whole thing, that stuff is really, really existed. And with me bringing this up and bringing it in a light, and me being a man,
You're right.
I was Mr. Expendables. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, but you got to understand though. This is what I want to clarify. A lot of people think that I let somebody do something to me. But that's not what happened. I mean, I pushed the guy off the whole day. I just didn't kill him.
Right.
See, the whole thing is they want you to kill everybody. But life is not a movie. You know what I mean? In the movies, in Equalizer 1, 2, and 3, you could just kill, pop, 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 knock people out and walk off, and then the movie fades out. But it doesn't work this way. Life doesn't work this way because the jails are packed full of cats that was just getting somebody back for what they did. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. My wife has seen me throw people over her head, straight up. I used to go knocking heads, bam, slapping people, hitting people. My wife made me promise. She said, Terry, promise me you will never ever react with violence because we're gonna lose everything. There was so many times the police was coming and this and that. She was like, oh my God, I'm trying to tell you this stuff y'all don't know.
For real, yeah.
Okay, so she was like, you gonna get shot, or you go to jail, or you gonna die. And she made me promise. And let me tell you something, when that happened, I looked her in the eye, she said, Terry, grabbed her hand, and we walked out. And it was the best decision I ever made because I'm still here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still here. And I handle my stuff the other way. I handle my stuff legally, like the way I was supposed to handle it. And I'm going to tell you, man, that's a watershed moment. I'm so proud because women have been going through this stuff. This is stuff we knew, man. We knew about R. Kelly. We knew about all this stuff. We knew about Bill Cosby. Right here, Philadelphia.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing. This stuff had to change, man. This stuff had to change because what was happening is success was the warmest place to hide.
Yes, it is.
Cass was like, man, I'm successful, so whatever. And they felt they could do anything to anybody. And we can't, that's the attitude that we have to get rid of. That's the whole thing, man, because we are all equal, straight up.
Well, let me tell you something. When the story first broke, my heart went out to you. There was a lot of black men, your own peers, that clowned you, from 50 Cent to Russell Simmons down to D.L. Hughley. Were you surprised by the lack of support you did not receive from your own peers, especially men of color?
I wasn't surprised at the lack of support because, my thing is, again, you living in a movie. I wasn't surprised. But what I was surprised by was the denigration, where I was like, okay, now y'all saying I wanted it? Are you alluding that I had, I mean, Terry Crews had something in him, see, that made that dude go after him, see? And see, that's the mistake. The mistake is that, look, see, I could never be shot. See, because I'm bulletproof, see, that guy who got shot, he had something in him that let that bullet hit him. That's not how life works, bro.
Right.
I'm saying, if things come, it's how you respond. Things come at you all day. And let me tell you something. It was so many men, black men, that came forward to me about stuff that they were attacked with, that they came with. First of all, there was so many, you know what, there were people who were online that didn't realize they had even been molested because they just shook it off. But later on in life, they're like, man, that dude, that was weird. You know what I'm saying? But we as men, we compartmentalize. We learn how to push things out of our lives and push things that happen and just say, well, no, it didn't happen. But first of all, even if I beat him up, does that mean it didn't happen? It happened.
Right.
And the deal is, and I was calling people on it, and I said, we have to look at ourselves. And I'm going to tell you this one thing before I go. The biggest thing about it was that I began to value myself enough to stand up. You understand? The big thing is that if you let something like this happen, you go, oh man, bump it, didn't happen, ain't nothing wrong with me. What's happened is you don't even value yourself enough to stand up for yourself. I was at a point where I was like, wait a minute. I'm valuable enough to get help. I'm valuable enough to say, you can't do this to me. And the problem is, there's a lot of men who just feel like we're not valuable enough to actually stand up for ourselves. And I had to stand there, I had to do it. And all them dudes that was coming at me and saying that stuff, I knew they didn't get it. And in fact, I told 50, I was like, hey man, I love your music. I love 50. You know what I mean? But the size of a man has nothing to do with being sexually assaulted. It doesn't. That's like saying a house is too big to get robbed.
Right.
Is it? Really? No, it's not. Because first of all, if you killed a man, hey, it didn't mean it didn't happen. That's the point I'm trying to say. And a lot of people try to play the fact that you're going to be embarrassed, the whole thing. And I say, you know what? First of all, vulnerability is my new key word. Because my deal is, if I hold on to it, and so many black men in our lives, we in that hole, we don't yell help, we don't say we need help. I went to therapy, man. I needed help, man. I didn't know where my life was. I was like, I'm successful and I don't know what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? By all intents and purposes, everybody was looking at me as like, you're this, you doing this. But I knew I wasn't all that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I had to fix it.
Terry Crews, we appreciate your time. We have a lot more, but they're saying we got to wrap it up.
I know.
We got to wrap it up.
Start.
But I know there's a book coming, right?
Yeah.
There's a book coming.
There's a new book me and my wife are writing right now called Stronger Together. It'll be out this year, later on this year. And this is my wife's version. See, everybody been hearing my stuff. But now you're going to get my wife's version of all the stuff that went down. Because remember, she was there.
Right.
She was there. Even all the stuff we're talking about right now, my wife has been right by my side.
You have to come back when the book comes out. We didn't talk about the book. We didn't talk about your clothing line.
Let's do it.
We didn't talk about the capsule line. We didn't talk about the furniture.
We didn't talk about the new movie with Luda.
Oh, yes.
There's so much more we got to talk about, but we appreciate the time that we had with you today, man.
Hey,
and we
man.
thank you, and we love you, and we
love you guys too,
have
man.
our support.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry Crews. Thank you.
Love you
Appreciate
guys. This is good. Thank you so much.
Thank